It's shut-ins, my dudes.
Your weekly pop culture power hour is starting now on Z90.7 WZIS. Hello and welcome to the Shut-ins Talk Show. It's Meets DJP, and with me as always is
Gavin the Chef Cook. What's poppin', Biggie?
Well, we actually are doing something quite nice today, and that is that this is the first maskless shut-ins in 2 years? Over 2 years? Yeah. Over 2 years, basically.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Look at me, I'm handsome.
I know, right? Like in
Look at us
the Twitch.
handsome
For those of you
boys.
on Twitch, hello,
This
you
is
can
what we
see
look
us.
like.
I know some people might not have ever known.
Yeah,
that's
some people are
that's a
like,
fair point.
"Whoa."
But yeah, like
We
it's
might
been.
have just lost fans.
Man, I mean, no, it happens. But yeah, man, like we're here. We're back from spring break. I have missed doing the show dearly. We almost thought that we wouldn't be able to because there was a baseball game going on, and sometimes they just take like 4 hours.
Yeah, we barely made it.
Yeah, I was amazed. Like 20 minutes ago, it ended because almost every update I was given on the show was wrong.
Yeah.
And then it ended up going in our favor anyway. So, it doesn't matter. But yeah, very excited for today, especially because I'm really glad we were able to do the show today. Because the first thing we're going to talk about is probably the biggest thing that happened. It kind of sucks that we weren't here last week because it happened on Wednesday, and that would have been great to talk about
morning too, so
in the morning too. So yeah,
it would have prime.
we would have had the exact time. But that is the long-awaited trailer for the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus Star Wars series.
Yes, and a teaser trailer too, which means we might get another one before it comes out.
Oh, more than likely, yeah. Because that's what's crazy.
May, right?
Yeah, it comes out in May, which is kind of why it's kind of crazy that this is the first thing we've gotten.
Too.
It does. It really. I woke up that morning, and that was like the first thing I saw.
Yeah.
Was that had been posted.
Yeah, because some of the stuff looks like fan made, and like that's not saying like it looks bad. I meant like it looks like those. There's people on YouTube that have like really good production quality with their videos.
Yeah,
and some of it looks
a lot
like
of
something you might see in that.
Yeah,
and that's why it still doesn't feel real.
Well, because even stuff around this period of Obi-Wan, like people have made fan stuff about that like
Exactly.
years ago, or like in general. But like I remember seeing stuff about that forever ago. So it's really cool. This is a real thing. I mean, this started off. I don't know if you remember this, Gavin, or for those of you out there who might not remember this. This was originally like planned or like rumored to be like a Star Wars story movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I think this is. I'm kind of glad it's not a movie. I think this works better
Because
as a
this
series.
was around the same time that they had the Vader, a Star Wars story movie rumored, and it was
I
supposed
don't
to be
even
like
remember that.
it was supposed to like take place, like during like when his like huge comic run went. And
Yeah,
tell one of
like
those
directly
stories.
after Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
And it's supposed to tell like one of those stories where like whatever.
Yeah, which
There's a lot going into
and when
it.
it comes to Star Wars canonical stuff, I think it's been said that like anything that happens like on screen in a live action thing takes precedent. So like if there was a comic that said one thing, but then like a movie comes out or a show comes out and does something else, I think that's the way they do it. Is that although I think they have literally people hired for jobs that like is to keep track of Star Wars lore, if I remember correctly. And if that is still a thing, I would very much like to have that job because there's so much space in my brain that's just Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
So I think I could
like that,
help out with that.
It's like that girl on TikTok that I watch, and she's been doing reading a sad quote about Obi-Wan Kenobi every day since the show comes out.
Yeah, every day.
And I'll give her the biggest kudos in the world because she has such a dedication to it.
Mm-hmm.
She has a different Obi-Wan Kenobi shirt for every video.
Oh,
and she's
really?
on day 38 now.
Yeah.
That's 38 different Star Wars shirts, let alone Obi-Wan Kenobi shirts.
No repeats?
No repeats.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
And it's always like from like super deep cut stories, like even like some legend stuff.
Word.
Because she's like, it's not canon, but it's still Obi-Wan Kenobi, so it's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
But it's really dope.
Yeah,
But,
that's cool. And like I guess we can get into the trailer itself
I was about to say
as well.
The trailer
Yes.
starts off and it obviously shows Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Also, we're on Tatooine, which I really hope
can't
I
escape.
really hope we get away from this planet after the Kenobi series, because obviously it makes. Well, also something I didn't expect for this is that like while it does show on Tatooine, and obviously it's gonna maybe not primarily, but like still like that's gonna be like a big part of it. It does show Obi-Wan going off world.
Yeah, he leaves at some point.
Because again, we know very little of the plot still, since this is the first trailer and all. So like,
I feel like it still gives away a lot, though.
it gives us a lot of stuff that I didn't expect and had not heard anything about. So there's a lot of new information with it, but still the overall plot, outside of it just following Obi-Wan for however long, we don't know.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting in-between, because I believe they said it's like 10, is it, like 9, I think it said like 9 or 10 years after Revenge of the, yeah, they said 10 years after Revenge
However
of the
long
Sith.
it was.
So
However
Luke's got,
old Luke is.
so yeah, Luke, yeah, let's say Luke, yeah, they said 10 years, pretty sure. So Luke's like 9 or 10, and like Obi-Wan's just, watching him from afar and whatnot. And yeah, so he's just been living in the desert as a hermit for 10 years at this point, which is why he looks old, disheveled, and Two Sons does not help anybody. So
No.
between all the sand and that, he does not. He looks good, obviously, but not as good as he looked 10 years prior.
Yeah. You hear his voice. He says, "The fight is done. We lost."
Yeah, very
And it, like
10 years into sad
Yeah,
Obi-Wan.
it's just like showing like sand and stuff because you're on Tatooine, obviously.
Yeah.
But he also says, "Stay hidden," as the theme from Phantom Menace begins to play,
Mm-hmm.
and you first see like young Luke.
Yeah,
and
I was kind of
the
surprised.
casting was dope too.
It was kind of surprised to see that. I figured that they were like
you
it's
thought they
because
were gonna de-age.
no,
Mark
no, no, no,
Hamill
no, no,
even
no, no, no,
more
no,
again?
no. I thought that they were just gonna have like, obviously like implied that Luke is there because he is, but I thought that they were just gonna have like, because they said that the people that played Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru in Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones are reprising their roles for this, and we see a little bit of Owen in the trailer,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Joel Edgerton. Love
Yeah,
him.
Joel Edgerton. And but I thought like any interaction with them, it wouldn't be at the homestead because like with
Yeah.
Luke being there. But they literally show in the trailer like Obi-Wan's like checking on him with like some binocs. And it's just little kid Luke sitting on top of the homestead, I guess pretending the pod race probably
Yeah.
or flying something.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna pull a lot from like, so the show probably will also pull a lot from like Legends because that's like the only content we have
Well,
that has a lot of Obi-Wan in
a
this
lot,
in-between
yes,
period.
yes,
But obviously Legends is non-canonical anymore.
yes.
But like, you
But they
can
can
still
definitely
pull stuff from it.
right
So
stuff
I'm
that
not
fits.
surprised that we saw little Luke because there's a lot of like content in which Obi-Wan does just like watch him from afar.
Yeah, because that's what
he
he's.
loves the kid.
That's what his job is. That's
Yeah.
what like the last thing Yoda
And,
had him do. He said Obi-Wan said he'd stay and watch the boy.
Yeah, like
Which again is why I'm surprised. Like later in this trailer, it shows him going to like 1 or 2 other places at least, because
Yeah.
something happens while he's on Tatooine. Because the Inquisitors, which were first introduced in Star Wars Rebels, show up here. There's a new one. I don't recall her name. I don't know if the thing you have might have their name, but also the Grand Inquisitor, who debuted and also died in Star Wars Rebels. Right. But yeah, the Grand Inquisitor, who debuted and also died in Star Wars Rebels. Spoiler, but it's been like almost 10
Come
years.
on,
It's been like
man.
10 years or almost 10 years. All right, leave me alone. But yeah, he's there and in live action.
Oh, her name's Reva.
Yes, that's who it is. Who more than likely is a fallen Jedi, because most Inquisitors are. Most, if not all of them, are fallen Jedi. Because the Grand Inquisitor is, for those who have not seen Rebels, he was formerly a Jedi Temple guard. Like those dudes that just stand there in the white. And they
Yeah.
showed up in Clone Wars like twice. And
a
in
lot
Rebels. Well, just a couple times in Rebels from like flashbacks, but like yeah, the ones they have like dual bladed like white or like very light yellow sabers. Yeah, so we have that, and then in the show, I believe one of the other Inquisitors that shows up in Rebels also shows up. I believe the fifth brother does, or it is or just somebody that happens to look similar. It's kind of weird since like comparing from the animation to live action. So I think it's him. I think it's the fifth brother. I could be wrong. I don't remember. I don't recall looking too much into it.
Yeah,
but yeah, like this
doesn't say a whole
trailer.
lot.
Yeah, this trailer. I was like, it shows us a lot. It looks amazing. But again, like I very much like that we still don't really know the full plot. All we can really tell is that it's been 10 years since Revenge of the Sith. Something happens where the Inquisitors get. It seems obviously they're on Tatooine at some point, so that means they were getting at least somewhat close to finding Luke, because they would, because they search for Force sensitive children to then make into Inquisitors so that Jedi don't find them and make them more Jedi and have, the Jedi Order come back. So yeah, that means that they're at least somewhat close, if not to Luke, then somebody else who's Force sensitive on Tatooine. Yeah. But like either or, that's a problem. And especially because if it's anything Jedi related all on Tatooine, that's Obi-Wan's job to be like, you can't be near Luke at all, because that's literally his only and last mission. Mm-hmm. And there's also been talk, you don't see him at all in any capacity. But as we know, Hayden Christensen is reprising the role of Darth Vader. At least that's what is officially said in this. But what a lot of people are saying, and something I do agree with, is that, obviously they would probably make it a big deal of Hayden Christensen being back in any way, shape, or form. But with how much they have been talking about it and how big a deal it is, I feel like they wouldn't fully do that if it was just him, but he's in the suit and you never see him. So a lot of people, including myself, have been like, I'm not trying to get my hopes up too high.
I think you already have.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I try to push it back down.
Right through it.
Yeah, I try to push it back down, but
Jacob doesn't bluff very well.
Yeah, true. But the very even small possibility that they'll do flashback scenes of live action Obi-Wan and Anakin from Clone Wars era. I mean, that would be my childhood dream, come true. Because Clone Wars is one of my favorite shows ever. Star Wars is one of my favorite things ever. It's all very near and dear to my heart. So to have, what I grew up with, basically coming together, because that sort of happened with Mandalorian stuff like that. Seeing Ahsoka and even just the mention of Thrawn in the Mandalorian season 2. And then having
Ahsoka's getting her own show.
Yeah, Ahsoka getting her own show. Ahsoka showing up in Book of Boba Fett with Luke Skywalker. They know each other. All of that is incredible. Everything I've ever enjoyed, learned of Star Wars, which was everything growing up that was coming out and had been out, is crazy. So the fact that there's even even if we do it one time and it's a really short thing, that, I'll take it, because that would be just incredible. I can't imagine. And then also something some people have been talking about that some people are very confident is happening already, but I'm still up in the air at, is saying that, and apparently, you had told me before that Ewan McGregor had already kind of mentioned something about it, and I also saw a concept art about it, about Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, fighting, actually having a duel. And I don't know how I feel about that, because from the end of Revenge of the Sith to, when they fight again on the Death Star in A New Hope, with this, how they say in A New Hope, I guess it could make sense if it's a 10-year and not 20-year, but I feel like it really hits harder and the way it's supposed to if when Obi-Wan and Vader duel on the Death Star one final time, it has been 20 years since their last one. Mm-hmm. And I know that if they do fight, it'll probably look super sick, wherever it happens, however long it is. And that would be cool to see, but I don't know. How do you feel about that, Gavin?
I don't think it really retcons anything.
Yeah, so that's saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it retcons anything, because when they Millennium Falcons and Death Star, Vader's just I feel a presence I haven't felt since, and then he just trails off, because obviously it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Whether it's 10 or 20 years, that makes sense. Yeah. But I don't know. One part of me is it doesn't really matter, but another part of me is but I feel like them literally not seeing each other for or at least not dueling. They run into each other maybe, but if they don't duel for 20 years from the last one to the presumed last one to the actual last one. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like that aspect a lot.
My thing is, so in A New Hope, Obi-Wan knows Anakin is Vader.
Yes.
How did he ever find that information out?
Well, he knew in Revenge of the Sith.
He never knew that Anakin.
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure he gets that when he sees that the hologram in the Jedi Temple. Because at one point Palpatine's there and he's kneeling before him, and I don't remember if he calls him Vader, but
the last time he saw Anakin though, Anakin had no legs.
Well, yeah, but obviously he knew he was called Darth Vader. And so when Darth Vader showed up, and he could feel his presence too, so he knows.
My whole thing is what if they have this big fight and Anakin's like kind of keeping his self like, I'm trying to think, like concealed behind like the Vader mask and stuff. So that's how Obi-Wan like finds out like that's Anakin.
I guess that is true, because when he's fighting him on Mustafar, he's still like at least partly Anakin, even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's like in Star Wars Rebels. To your point, in Star Wars Rebels, Ahsoka goes through that where she does not know, because as it was shown in Clone Wars when the final season came out, she was nowhere near. She was like nowhere near. She just felt like something was wrong with Anakin, but never knew what happened. So she was completely in the dark on all that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until in Rebels, years later, where as she's fighting Darth Vader, she like is like focusing on him, sensing him, and I remember Vader like says something to like, because he talks as if he doesn't know her, or like he just knows of her, and then it hits her.
She cuts his like mask and sees his eye, and like has this connection moment with.
Yeah, while fighting, I thought right before or during the fight, she then has the realization like, wait, that's Anakin, and he's like, nah, that person's dead.
Exactly. I feel like it would be something like that.
I guess it could, yes.
Because that's how later on Obi-Wan's like so, I wouldn't even say content, but like just so like, oh, yep, Anakin's dead. Sorry, your father's dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is kind of like the scumbaggy thing he does to Luke, where he's like, you told me my father was dead. He's like, well, he was from a certain point of view. It's like, certain point of view, his dad's one of the most evil people in the universe. You weren't going to tell him that.
And so like, I feel like Obi-Wan could have just been honest and been like, had he not like really known that Vader was Anakin, I feel like he could have just been honest and been like, well, here's the thing about your father, kid.
Right. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if, especially in like this just years of depression, Obi-Wan is clearly gone through because all his friends are dead. His like his brother is dead, and or like dead, so to speak. Whether he knows that he lived or not, which I'm pretty sure he knew the whole time, but we'll see.
I don't know how though, because like he saw the hologram, but Palpatine never like calls him Vader. You just hear the sounds of the lightsaber and you just see him kneeling before Palpatine. Yeah,
I remember he calls him his apprentice, but I don't remember if he specifically calls him Darth Vader. I don't know. I'll have to look into this later because I didn't think about that till we brought it up.
But still, like, but still, like, so what I was thinking was like, which we may get some Yoda scenes too. During his travels, whether it's like a Force thing or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, Yoda's still alive at this point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like whether it's like a conversation through the Force or runs into him.
I think conversation like through the Force or flashback. I think those are probably the only two that'll happen.
We still have to like see Obi-Wan learn how to do his Force Ghost stuff.
What's the thing?
That's another thing that happens within these 20 years.
Yes, but I would actually, they could do that because they showed Yoda doing it in Clone Wars.
Exactly.
So they could. That would be kind of insane if they did that in live action. Because you know what episode I'm talking about.
A little brief part of it, like,
or at least like
too much detail.
Or because I was thinking, because Yoda tells him that at the end of Revenge of the Sith, because Qui-Gon had done that. Then in Clone Wars, it's revealed that Qui-Gon wasn't able to fully finish it, which is why Qui-Gon never shows up as an actual Force ghost. It's just his voice at times, which. That could be, like, if they just, like, kind of retcon it and have him be a Force ghost anyway for this, I'm fine with it. I love Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson has said he's not been contacted about anything, but people lie, and sometimes they're contractually obligated to lie.
Yeah, and apparently
so it's like,
Andrew Garfield's actually good at it.
Yeah, right.
But, no, like, I just think, like, something like that would be dope. It wouldn't be that hard to at least, like, pull an old audio clip from Phantom Menace.
Right,
Just something small like that if they don't go all the way and have, like, him come in for voice or come in to be a Force ghost.
But that's why I'm thinking, like, I would think Obi-Wan much sooner than where we're seeing him now did the whole, like, thing that Yoda and then Qui-Gon partially did to, like, become one with the Force later on when they die.
Well, you just have to... My only
but
thing
if they
is,
did
like,
show
you have
that...
to keep practicing it. Like, in the comics, that's, like, a thing he does. Like, while he's secluded and alone all this time, he makes toys secretly for Luke.
Right.
And he practices the Force so he knows how to do that when his time has come.
Right.
And so, like, I feel like...
Right. Well, you just need to be, like, in tune. You can't cut yourself off.
You know, that's what I mean. Is like, he has his meditation. So I feel like part of, like, a meditation of some sort would either be a flashback or, like, in his head, he's, like, thinking about it. And that's what explains it.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I never even thought about that if they did that. Since 10 years after, I thought, oh, he's already done that, and he's set. But yeah, I never even thought about that. That would be nuts. Because if anybody out there has seen like the Clone Wars episode, it was in the original last season, that being season 6, where there's like a 2-parter where Yoda goes on this. He starts getting he starts getting messages like from beyond. I think it's from Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, yo, this is crazy. And they're like, but the dead can't communicate, Yoda. You're crazy. And then he has Anakin help him like escape from the temple. Then he goes to where he's like being called to. And that's where he finds out that in Qui-Gon's journeys, he found a way to become one with the Force after you die. And then was telling Yoda how to do it. It shows that whole process of how he does it for like a whole episode or two. And it's nuts. It's super trippy. It's crazy. He goes to like a Sith planet at one point. So I assume Obi-Wan would have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So if they even do a little bit of that, I mean, if they might mention it maybe.
Yeah, because they could chop it down to like just them talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
but if they show anything, I think that's a real like shot in the dark. But that would be nuts.
So my whole thing with it is just like, there's a lot they can do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot they are going to do. But the only thing that really like, I wouldn't even say like takes me off is like, I don't know how I feel about the whole Inquisitor thing. Like, I know it's there.
Right.
But I'm glad that they added a new Inquisitor. Because that way it gives a fight, like, an actual end. Because that used to be one of my least favorite parts about everything Star Wars related. They'd have, like, this huge fight. Someone's about to bite the bullet. And boom. Both teams are just like, I'm out of here, and run away.
I get you. Well, especially because if it's a character that has been, like, pre-established, so like you know that they don't die here. So we know the Grand Inquisitor, nothing's gonna happen to him because he's alive for another like 5 to like 8 years. I think I don't remember the Star Wars.
We're still.
It's whatever.
If we're 10 after Revenge, then that means we're still 10 away from A New Hope, right?
Yes, and Rebels takes place, I think, within a year or two before the first Death Star explodes.
Yeah, and so that means.
So So like
8,
so like 8,
8.
yeah, 7 or 8 give or take around that. So I'm also wondering how much he's going to be in it then, because it shows him like with his lightsaber on, like going nuts.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool if him and Obi-Wan fought. I just don't want all the Inquisitors to fight Obi-Wan because then it's all going to be the same
except for that
fight.
New one they introduced, because again, she can get murdered and it would not affect anything.
She could be like one of the. They may have just given her a name. It could be the ninth sister, like from
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Oh no, they've already established those different people. They also don't.
They did.
They also don't look alike. But again, live action to video game, like they can do whatever. But yeah,
you hardly ever see her without her helmet too. And I haven't played the game in months.
Well, I was gonna say like half the game she has her helmet off. But
whatever. My gosh, I'm just
saying. I'm not trying to be rude. I was just letting you know.
I'm sorry.
I was just letting you know.
Star Wars genius.
I am not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just helping you out. Okay.
It's not helping.
I wanted to do it as nicely as possible.
It was rude.
All right. Well, I was like, we've gone a little over time. I was like, do you want to like? We could just do like 3 breaks if you wanted to,
we just do 2 big breaks.
Or either way, yeah. Since we're
the next ones we could literally just squeeze in.
Yeah, that's true. The thinking of scheduling on the fly here on the Shedden's Talk Show. Because I knew we'd talk about this for a while because like this was like the big news of the last week that we would have talked about last week if we were here. So do you want to go to break or do you have any more to talk about this?
I was just thinking. I think I covered all the points.
Yeah, I think I have too.
Oh, I really do want to see the part where Owen threatens to kill Obi-Wan when he finds out that Obi-Wan's the one making the toys.
But that's the thing. We don't know if that'll like they might do that. They might not. Because
I just meant like I'd really like to see that.
Yeah, because that's another. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. So that since we have a couple more minutes, we can talk about this. Yeah, by the time of A New Hope, Owen and Beru never really acknowledges it. When Owen's just like, oh yeah, Ben, somebody named Kenobi is just a weird old hermit that lives somewhere. So it could be like him protecting Luke, but also I think it's established in whether Legends or other stuff or both. That eventually there's a rift between Owen and Obi-Wan where Owen's at first Owen's like, oh yeah, you're gonna protect him, whatever. But as years go on, then he's just and I guess they could very well stem from this, because like clearly Inquisitors show up on Tatooine. They're bad news. They're here trying to find Force sensitives that are hidden throughout the galaxy. So that very well could be the point where he goes to Obi-Wan. He's like, all right, you need to leave and not come back, because you being here puts him even more at risk than he already may be.
Yeah.
So that could start that whole rift that like causes that.
Because that's like the whole. That's like when he's like, I'm just here to protect him. And Owen goes, oh yeah, like you did Anakin?
Yeah, that's the thing. And even then, that's crazy. Like, that comic is really cool. With obviously, like, but that one itself is like, even when it was made, was non-canon. But yeah, like, they could do some harsh stuff pulling from that.
Like, that stuff doesn't have to be, no one's going to be like, oh, that didn't happen. It was in this comic. Blah,
yeah,
blah.
because that comic was never canon. It was just really cool.
Also, because, like, it just,
also,
it's not hard to make it canon, too. Like, them having Owen and Obi-Wan have an argument.
Yeah, that's an easy thing.
That's not gonna like
that's
keep Rey from being born.
Because in this comic that we're talking about, it was just a really cool one that was like a side thing, non-canon, but it had, at the time, Clone Wars hadn't happened, so Darth Maul was still dead. So they had like a final duel on Tatooine. And in the middle of that, Owen's just like, yeah, you gotta leave because this is bad. That's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to stop this, and he does. But still, they have a whole thing. So this very well could just be like a canonical version of that, and I think it probably will be.
It probably would be.
Also, I don't think they show Beru at all.
They will.
Well,
I
was
just in it in the trailer.
Yeah, because I was thinking like that's the two big exclusions were no Vader of any kind.
You're wrong.
And Beru.
You're wrong.
Was there?
We got Vader at the very end. You didn't see him, but you heard his breathing.
Did you? I'm just dumb. Also, there was photos that they showed of like things that were in the trailer. ET had stuff, and it just showed Vader looking super ominous.
Looking dope.
Yeah, he's gonna be. I guess he's probably gonna be talking with the Inquisitors. He'll be in this little palace on Mustafar.
I think this is gonna be the dopest iteration of Darth Vader we've gotten since
Rogue One. I was about to say since Rogue One. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Because like,
also I assume that James Earl Jones is gonna be back to do the voice.
Yeah,
because
at least I'd hope.
Yeah, well, as long as he's alive, he's probably doing it. Yeah. I don't see why not.
What would be really dope is one day just finally getting I don't care if it's like a 2-part extended series that Disney does one day. I just want one mission from like that in between time with Vader.
Yeah, in live action,
he did some dope stuff.
Yeah, dude, Vader
became a god.
Yeah, Vader directly after when he's still young, but in like newly in the suit where he's like peak angry. That comic stuff, both in non-canon and canonical stuff, is some of the coolest like Star Wars media out there.
Became a planet's god.
Yeah,
they were like outside of the Republic and stuff, so they don't know anything.
Yeah. That stuff was crazy. And then I think he just killed everybody anyway. Yeah.
No, he was just like, I could get used to this.
Yeah, but then he's just like, nah, I'm outie. Let's have fun.
He dipped.
Yeah, I was gonna say
because he killed a mountain.
Yeah, he did.
It was a force-sensitive mountain.
Go look up, like anything that's solo on Vader, both like Legends and canon. Go look it up. That stuff is great. But we are gonna go to break. When we come back, we've got some other news involving both some Marvel and DC stuff, and we might just talk about it in one big break. I don't know, but we'll see what happens when we come back on the Shun's Talk Show.
No word in the English language.
All right.
We got a Madam Web.
What?
Casting.
For what?
The movie.
They're making a Madam Web movie?
Mm-hmm.
Since when?
It's been known.
What?
Dakota Johnson's playing Madam Web.
I have never heard of this.
Part
ever.
of Sony's.
Oh, that's why. The Sony stuff just kind of goes to the back of my brain until a movie comes out.
Euphoria Sydney Sweeney has joined the film cast in an unknown role.
Word. That's some good casting. Okay, I hope this is the right bumper that goes next. I don't know. I don't know, since they're labeled different. They're labeled kind of differently. Unless I can't read. Yeah, I don't know if this is the right one to play, but it says it's Shut-In's bumper, so hopefully this is the right one. Movies, video games, and more right now on Shut-In's Talk Show on Z90.7 WZIS. 2, 1. And we are back with the Shut-In's Talk Show. So, well, we didn't decide on which one we were going to talk about next, so which one do you want to talk about, Gavin?
So we got a trailer for Miss Marvel.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and it's the first trailer.
Yeah.
And I think the first
long
thing,
awaited one as well.
yeah, the first like full length thing we got of this since they did like that big compilation trailer thing.
Yeah, and even then that was like 10 seconds or like 15.
If that,
yeah,
dude.
if that.
You got to see Kamala in like a makeshift suit.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that was the same day that we got the She-Hulk teaser stuff.
Yeah, that was I think it was like Disney Plus Day or whatever.
Yeah.
They just gave a sizzle reel. That like they had the trailers for the big stuff, announcements about big stuff, and then like a sizzle reel of everything else.
Yeah, but I'm excited because
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be fresh off of like Moon Knight, which is more grounded.
Yes.
You know, less like
And-
large scale.
Yes.
And so we're jumping right into like some smaller scale stuff that's not too crazy.
Yes.
Um,
Also, this is like the newest superhero to get any form of live action adaptation. I'm pretty sure because Kamala Khan was made as a character.
in like 2014.
Yeah, like not like within the last 10 years, and also extremely popular, which makes sense that they've
Yeah.
made a show about
Which
a
is
still very new,
crazy
which
'cause
is crazy. I never
Miles
thought
Morales could have taken that spot.
that's true, and they've already sowed the seeds of or at least thinking of doing something close to Miles Morales in both like Sony and Marvel stuff.
I still think that Sony and Marvel stuff are connected
Yeah,
forever now.
yeah, basically.
I still think that. I'm just, we have to wait for confirmation.
Right, exactly.
Because, so, just a little side note,
Mm-hmm.
since it's not the biggest news in the world. So, the Madam Web movie was announced a couple months ago.
Yes,
and
I did not know
Dakota
about this.
Johnson- Dakota Johnson was casted in the title role.
This
Meaning
being
it's not-
a Sony Marvel movie as well,
Yes.
like Venom and other Venom, and
Yeah.
soon to be Morbius.
And so, like, it doesn't talk about a whole lot, but it does talk about how, like, in the comics and specifically in the 2010 game Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions,
Mhm.
Madam Web plays, like, a huge role. And they're talking about how, like, she is mainly, like, a huge part of the multiverse stories, too.
Right.
And apparently, Sony views Madam Web as their Spidey version of Doctor Strange in like the Spider-Man universe.
Does she have powers? I don't
She has
recall.
Psychic sensory powers.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is a character I'm not as familiar
Yeah,
with.
because she's like in the comics and stuff. She's the woman in the chair,
Mm,
but like instead of like looking at TV monitors,
Yeah.
it's all
she's like the
mental.
one in charge of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know, but that still just makes me think even more that they're connected, which
Yeah.
it's whatever, we'll find out. I'm
Yeah.
still sad about everything.
Yeah, but to get back with Miss Marvel stuff, a big thing about this, so like they show her, and the whole thing with Miss Marvel is that, it's a very weird history. So originally there was a character called Miss Marvel that was Carol Danvers, but then as time went on, they changed the name from Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel, which is then what became.
Which was Captain Marvel.
Which was Captain
was a
Marvel.
man.
Yeah, there was Captain Marvel, who was a man, and then there was Miss Marvel, who was Carol Danvers, a woman. And then they just had Carol Danvers instead be Captain Marvel, which is then the version that was adapted into the MCU with Brie Larson, all that, what we all know. So then the title Miss Marvel went on to a new superhero, that being Kamala Khan, which is who the show is about. And she has, so in the comics, so a big thing about this is that they've changed kind of how her powers work compared to the comic version. Because in the comic version, she has like, it's called like embiggening, and it's like kind of similar to how like Mr. Fantastic works, but not really. Because I think it's more like is it magic based or no? I don't recall.
It's cosmic based.
Cosmic, that's what it is. Because they keep that form. Because like so she could like grow bigger. She can like enlarge like her body parts and stuff. Like she'll get like giant fists to punch people
Yeah, usually
and stuff
that's
like
what-
that.
That's like her
That's the go-to. Yeah.
But
But in this, they've already established. We're not. They'll probably do it better in the show, obviously. But they've shown it is still like cosmic, but it's very like obvious instead. So she's like
yeah, instead of,
creating
it-
like power manipulating type
yeah.
things.
So she does a very similar thing, but instead of just having to CGI like basically fat rubber hands on
Right.
every time she does something,
Mm-hmm.
they have her like have like this purple glowy stuff surround her, like cosmic.
Yes.
That's literally the only way you could describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there is a part where you see her punch something and her fist looks massive, but
Yeah,
it's
but it's all like
covered in that
purple and stuff. Yeah.
And
So it's more like
which
like a
that's
con
cool,
like
though,
a
'cause
con kind of like how Green Lantern stuff works.
Yeah.
For an example from DC, just being able to make that stuff. So it is a little different. But again, the character as a whole is fine
More
because she's like
similar
what?
enough, though.
Yeah, but yeah, it's close enough. Some people I seen were kind of upset about it, and some people are like, "Oh, they better not be changing it just because Mr. Fantastic's going to do this." Like, would have something similar like 3 years from now, because I doubt that's the reason.
They don't care.
Exactly.
Why do you think we have like 5 different Hawkeyes and Iron Mans now?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, even with the movies, like every other character shoots lasers like almost like just slightly differently. So like, who cares?
I was gonna say we saw Civil War. We saw
we saw
comparisons between characters who were similar.
Yeah, and even with like and then when Eternals came around, it's like half of them have powers that we've already like are similar to what we've seen before.
Icarus
So it's like
is
it's
just
whatever.
Vision without a stone in his
Exactly right.
head. And like whatever.
But yeah, so like with this, like the main thing about this is that this character is like one of the most accurate for this show. It's one of the most accurate from the source material, because it's Kamala Khan. She's like what, in high school, I think. Yeah, so she's a young girl in high school.
Like 16.
She's like 16 or something. Yeah, and so in the trailer, like it shows that like she's in like some school counselor room or something, and he's talking to her like Kamala, like you gotta like you seem to be like just drifting off a lot, like daydreaming or whatever. And as he's saying this, she's like imagining herself in like her own costume, like similar to Captain Marvel's, because she like sees her as like an idol and stuff like that. So she's like jumping out of her window of her house, like swinging on a tree, like fighting bad guys. And then she like snaps out of it. He's like, "Come on, for real? Like while we're talking about it." So I don't recall how she gets her powers in the comics, and I'm sure they'll do something. They could do something similar, could do something completely different in the show. I'm not entirely sure. But then at one point she finds out she has powers, and then starts like we'll have the kind of like put together like homage to Carol Danvers' outfit first. It'll be kind of goofy and like, because even like wearing it, it looks kind of like puffy, like it's almost like a muscle suit or something like that. And just like it's cheaply made, like most superheroes' first suits are. And so like going through all that, and at one point like at the end of the trailer, they're just like, "Do you know what you're doing?" She's like, "I'm a superhero." Like it's her whole dream come true. Even as a 16-year-old, like she like wants to like be here, because like at one point like her mom's just like, whether I don't know if she knows she has powers or not. I don't recall if that's something that happens in the comics or whatever. But yeah, she's telling her like stuff's like too dangerous or whatever, since she's so young. And then like I think they show, I don't know who the main villain is either. There's still like major plot stuff we don't know about this show, because they show like these 4 figures that like have lights on them but are all like dark and we don't know who they are.
Yeah. The only plot details are that were said that it's Kamala Khan, and she's going to be dealing with normal high schooler struggles.
Yes.
And then she also has superpowers.
Yeah, and she finds out she has superpowers. It's either given to her or it's like innate. I don't remember.
But we do have like casting stuff, which gives us a kind of better idea. So we got Aramis Knight who plays vigilante named Red Dagger.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a new character or not.
I don't either. I assume it's like from the comics, but I'm not aware. Like newer,
then,
like
we also got like people who's playing like Cigar. I'm not gonna try too hard on this, but just casting for Kamala's older brother, Kamala's best friend played by Bruno Corelli.
Yeah.
Just basically parents. They haven't even announced casting for like villains or anything like that.
Right, and it does come out in June, so like it makes sense.
They also haven't confirmed whether or not we'll see Carol Danvers first in this show, or if Kamala just runs into her in the Marvels movie.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think if Brie Larson shows up at all, it'll be
it'd
very
be towards the end. I didn't think she'd show up.
I think it's very likely to be towards the end of the series, but I think in general she'll show up like once, if at all. And then I think I'm pretty sure it was confirmed, because Miss Marvel was the first show they ever said like this is going to directly tie in to like movie stuff. Like all of them are connected, but they said that one was the first one. At least that was like when they announced it like 2-3 years ago. So things could change. But I think it was said at some point, or I don't remember if it was an official source that was a problem, that she would appear in some form in the Marvels, because we know that obviously Brie Larson, that Carol Danvers will.
It's called the Marvels because she's showing up.
Originally, that's the thing. Like, but originally, I think it was once the Monica Rambeau stuff with WandaVision happened, and we got that direct connection. I think they said like, yeah, she would be showing up for that, because I think it was around that time they changed the name to the Marvels, or it was something not too long before that, at least.
They changed the name. So we knew about Miss Marvel before we found out that Monica Rambeau had powers.
Yes.
And then they changed the name after WandaVision had happened.
Okay.
Because they had already said that Kamala Khan would show up.
Okay,
in
I
the
couldn't
Captain
remember how
Marvel
much.
movie.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how much they said. Yeah, they
And
said
then
she
they
would
were
directly.
Like, oh yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
we didn't want to spoil WandaVision, but
Of course.
Monica's going to show up.
Yeah.
With Kamala in
Right.
this movie. And so
Okay. So yeah. But yeah, that's the only one. I mean, again, things like over the last 2 years, things have been like switched around schedule wise so much. Yeah, you know, like the order of a lot of stuff is different than it was originally planned. So like, at the end of the day, I think they were gonna show up in Captain Marvel 2, or the Marvels as it's called now. But yeah, like they did originally say like for sure that Miss Marvel was right back when they announced all those shows and like none of them been filmed yet. That one was 1,000% going to like tie into a movie. So it could be, you know, Carol Danvers shows up at the end, and then that's picked up on or referenced.
I don't think she's gonna come and save the day or
Marvels.
anything, but like,
Yeah, I think she'll just like show up.
I feel like we'll get like similar to how she just like showed up the stuff in What If. I feel like we're just gonna see her show up at the very end and be like, "Hey,
Or her,
heard you're pretending to be me."
or like right, it's like, oh yeah, real quick, since we have a couple minutes left still. At the very last thing they show in the trailer is her like sitting on like a street light, and from behind you can tell she's in like, from what it looks like, almost spot on like comic accurate
that's the
usual
poster.
outfit. Oh yeah, and it's the poster too. Like they had that in the trailer as well, like in motion.
That's
like
actually the cover of one of the comics.
Oh, it is. Yeah. That's even. That's so
it
cool.
said right here that it took from like it had the specific comic name. Oh yeah, cover of Miss Marvel. Oh,
Whoa.
On the 2014 cover of Miss Marvel #5.
Yeah, there
that's
you go.
the exact same like angle and everything.
Yeah, that's super sick. Like I say, after Hawkeye, where they had like at least in the title sequence, like a lot of like homages to like that straight up like, what is it? My Life as a Weapon run.
Yeah.
Like that stuff was really cool, and I like them when they do stuff like that.
Oh, and having comic accurate suits.
Yes, that too, because that's something that most have avoided for years, but they're finally. Some of them is warranted, but like
Yeah, because like
with Scarlet,
I did not want to see Falcon. And his
spandex Falcon,
yeah.
was not great. The robot stuff is, I will agree, better for on screen. Same with like obviously they made fun of the comic accurate Scarlet Witch outfit, but the way they like kind of modernized it to work with the MCU, like how she looked at the end of WandaVision and in the trailer for Multiverse of Madness, I think that looks great. It's a lot more subtle, but still looks cool, and it's not a whole like, I don't even know what to call it.
Or just like Spider-Man. Instead of spandex, they put him in this sweatshirt and sweatpants.
Well, yeah. Right. But yeah, I think we're good with that. So we are going to go to break again. And when we come back that'll be our last break. We have a little spin-off of a very beloved show that sounds even more hysterical, possibly more hysterical than the original show itself. And we'll talk about that when we come back on the Shun's Talk Show.
What else was it that I saw earlier?
I
saw something
don't
earlier
remember.
that I didn't want to talk about, but I just
Mm-hmm.
it was weird.
Shut-in's ID should be one to come back in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because for whatever reason, the snack break one is on hotkeys, but it's not. I unless it's under a different name in here.
Oh, then don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying we just have the other one that's not. That just says Shut-in's ID.
Oh, we can talk about this too.
Hmm.
Season 3 of Harley Quinn, James Gunn is set to play an animated version of himself.
What? Okay. That's man. This dude rules DC right now, dude.
So I just know that they're gonna make fun of him.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, this could be the snack break one. Honestly, I have no idea, but I don't think it is.
No, it'll probably say Snack Break. Because Lyric didn't have to change any names.
You're listening to Shut-in's Talk Show here on Z90.7 WZIS-FM, Terre Haute.
And we are back with the Shut-in's Talk Show. So what I was alluding to before with the spin-off of a current beloved show, the Harley Quinn animated series, which I believe this third season is the next upcoming one.
Yeah.
So I did not know about this until literally right before the show, Gavin told me about this. So Gavin, told them what you told me.
So, a spin-off series from the DC animated series Harley Quinn is coming out. In development. Sorry, not coming out anytime soon.
Yeah.
So probably next year. It's called Noonans, and the main character of it, the show, is Kite Man.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So it's titled Noonans, and it centers around Kite Man specifically because he buys the Noonans bar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an iconic hangout spot for the criminal underworld in Gotham City. And it actually appeared in an old Batman comic in the 90s.
A word.
And the bar is named after a former hitman, Sean Noonan.
Okay.
And so the creator of the show basically narrowed it down to for plot details. He said he tries to run the bar by himself, but it doesn't turn out so easy.
Of course not. It's Kite Man.
And he said, we do have Harley and Ivy appear in the first episode, but after that, we're going to have different goons and villains appearing every episode.
Dude.
He goes, so one episode Lex Luthor and Bane will show up.
Oh,
He
word.
goes, it will kind of be like Cheers for supervillains.
That's all Gavin told me. He's like, oh, did you see the Kite Man spinoff of Harley Quinn? I'm like, are you making this up? What is this? You're like, yeah, it's like, I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's like Cheers, but like Kite Man's like in it. And I'm like, are you being for real right now? He's like, yes, no, this is a real thing. That is like some of the best combinations of stuff I could think of. And I don't know if it was specifically Noonan's, but I swear, I think it was an episode of like Batman Brave and the Bold or something. There was an episode, or like one of the Batman animated shows from like the mid to late 2000s or like early 2010s. Because there was an episode of one of those where somebody goes to like a pub that's like a villain hangout, and like all the villains from like the whole show were just sitting there hanging out, like playing pool, like having a drink and stuff like that. I don't remember if it was Noonan's though, but obviously this is gonna be like a whole like comedy
There's probably
thing.
a form
But
of it.
yeah, but this sounds just hysterical because everybody loves Cheers, and Kite Man and the Harley Quinn show is hilarious. Kite Man is hysterical, and having him being in charge of a bar and not do a good job and have God knows who shows up is gonna be just fantastic. I'm very glad you told me about this because I don't know how I didn't hear about this. Like, when was this announced? If you know.
This is just the other day during some panel.
Okay.
But he also did say that, wait. Yeah, okay, sorry. So, the upcoming third season of Harley Quinn will be premiering soon, he said. And he also said that there will be a whole episode paying homage to Quinn's first appearance in, I don't know what BTAS is, in the Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, director James Gunn will play himself in an episode, and we will see him hilariously making a movie about Thomas Wayne. Until then, you can rewatch Harley Quinn's first 2 seasons on HBO Max.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Would that have been good to like see like without knowing it was gonna happen? Yes. Am I glad he told us anyway? Also, yes, because that is gonna be hilarious.
So that's great. That's one of my favorite. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I already quote the show so much already. I'll just randomly be like, Kite Man.
Hell yeah. That's the thing. I haven't even seen all the show, but every like bit like in trailer I've seen, because sometimes a trailer for a funny show doesn't really make it seem that funny, and it's just kind of unfortunate. Every time I saw a trailer for that show for either season, in between episodes, whatever, just for one episode, incredible. And even though it is the Harley Quinn series, a lot of scenes I've seen that don't even have her in it still funny. Like, yeah, like I was saying, like Kite Man as like just leaning into completely how stupid of a character that is, and having him just be a complete goofball, just try to be cool and fail miserably
and
the whole time.
Gets better when you find out that his arch nemesis is the Condiment King.
Oh yes, dude, Condiment King's dude. I love Condiment King. That character is hysterical. Batman has some of the dumbest and best villains at the same time.
I'm so excited too because obviously working with DC, the creators of that show have seen the Batman.
Yeah.
And
they have. Well, I mean,
they probably got early access to it though.
It's possible they have content to make fun of from the Batman.
Because
that is true.
At least like one little thing, because I get it.
You would think so,
They're
yeah.
coming closer together.
Yeah, and
'Cause, I
animation
mean-
takes a longer time.
I was gonna say, just at Fandom, they didn't even have a trailer to give us. They had
They
to show us
didn't.
sketches.
Yeah, exactly. But they had like a little like
had,
comedy bit of
yeah,
King
they had-
Shark and Harley Quinn like their
Yeah.
these
They
are
had-
animated characters.
Yeah, they had the audio for it too. They
Mhm.
just didn't have the animation done for it.
Yeah.
And, which that's really dope though, because at this point, Kaylee Cuoco is HBO Max's queen right now.
Dude, she's on everything.
'Cause
She's
on that-
everywhere.
she has a whole new series on HBO Max, like that she stars in.
Yeah.
And
And then she still has that flight attendant show
That's
going
what I was
on as
talking
well. Okay, yeah. Well, I think it's been around for a minute, but I don't recall.
Oh,
I thought it had. At least.
maybe I don't know.
I don't know, but still,
it
like,
seemed brand new to me.
yeah, but like
I've
they,
never seen it.
yeah, I haven't either. But yeah,
Oh,
she's
it's called
everywhere.
Not Kidding Around. That's what the
Yeah,
thing was.
that's what
It
it
was
is.
during South by Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they were announcing all this stuff.
Okay.
And you know, a little bit of a sad note. The creator did say, what was his name again? Patrick Schumacher.
Mm-hmm.
He did say, he was like, you know, it could happen. He goes, there is also a possibility that it doesn't happen at all. He
Okay.
goes, which we have to be ready for. He goes, but let's be real here. Based on how excited everyone is for season 3 of Harley Quinn, at least a few episodes of that as like just like a little mini fun thing. He goes, I think everyone would like that.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, it could just not happen at all. We just have to wait and see.
For
goes-
what part you're talking about?
The Kite Man show
Okay.
about
Yeah.
Noonan's. Noonan's.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, it could just not happen at all. You know how the entertainment industry works.
Right.
He goes, but as of right now, we got the green light. He goes,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep doing what we can until, you know, hopefully
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Also, I think it's very funny because on I don't know what you're looking at, but on Collider, it makes mention of this where this idea of like a comedy take on like a villain hangouts, like a pub.
Yeah, the
Uh,
villain pub.
Yeah, it's
On
like
YouTube?
on YouTube the YouTube channel How It Should Have Ended, which has been around for years, that make animated parodies on like how different things, like comedy parodies on how like movies would end. They started a mini series of their own called The Villain Pub like years ago. That's been going on where like they just have a bunch of movie villains
Yeah, you see
hang out and stuff.
Palpatine,
Yeah, they have like villains from just
Cesar
from
Romero's
like
Joker.
yeah, like all the Jokers, Thanos shows like when Thanos became the super big bad after Infinity War, like he was there. So yeah, like so it's, something similar has been done, but like that's just by people with a lot less money for animation on YouTube. Like this is like
Yeah.
obviously not the same thing. It's not like they're ripping them off or something, but like
yeah.
this is like a fantastic thing. Like Cheers with probably mostly comedy or weird villains in the DC
Yeah.
universe. Like
Especially
anybody can
since,
show
like,
up, you know?
Bane is one of my favorite characters in that show.
Yes.
Just because of how like funny he is.
Mm-hmm.
And like when they're at the
Oh wait, King Shark's considered a villain, right? He could show up too. Like any other side character in Harley Quinn could show
Yeah.
up in this as well. And
yeah,
King Shark
even though
rules.
Harley Quinn and them are the heroes of that story, they're still
Mhm.
villains.
Yeah.
And so like King Shark could show up. I just want Bane to show up to talk about explosions. And I want Lex
Yeah.
Luthor to say, no one knows what explosion is, Bane.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if, and I obviously they don't have to, but if they got the same dude like that's almost always voiced Lex Luthor that voiced him in the animated series, it'd be pretty cool.
I don't remember who voices him.
um,
They'd probably just do the same voice cast as Harley Quinn.
Oh, has he shown up in Harley Quinn?
Oh,
Again,
yeah,
I'm
they had
okay.
a whole
Oh, okay. Then never mind. I haven't seen the whole series, so I was not aware. Cause I'm looking through here. This is just talking about Harley Quinn, but yeah, I've not seen all of the Harley Quinn show, but everything I have seen is hysterical. So I have all the faith in them in the
he's
world.
voiced by Giancarlo Esposito in Harley Quinn.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Oh my god! Never mind. That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
totally cool.
because Rainn Wilson voices him in the Justice League Dark movies.
Okay.
And so, oh yeah, because this is a different version of Lex Luthor than like you get in like the Justice League animated shows.
Right. Of course.
But I don't know. I'm excited.
Oh, of course.
It's dope.
Yeah, I'm again.
It's really weird to like not have anything itching my face during shut-ins.
I know, right? It's very strange because this is like, even though this is like the second time this week I've done like a live show on, live on air show. It's still, or I guess 3 in total, but both on air and then 2 on Twitch. Like it is weird, but also it feels like It feels like it's 3 years ago again.
Somewhat
you feel
normal.
me? Yeah, I know, right? I've definitely missed this. I remember Rich Green, our boss here at the radio station, had said like a month or two ago, was talking to us, and or at least me. I don't remember who all was there when he was talking about it, but he was like, it'd be really cool if we could have like at least one maskless shut-ins before the semester's over. And I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And here we are. It's live on Twitch. It's live on air on WZIS. And, we'll save this. It'll be put on YouTube and we'll remember it forever. Yeah. I say we still have a few minutes left. Not to get too sappy. It's on everybody here.
We still got a lot of episodes left too.
That's true. This is
that wasn't us like being like this is the end.
Yeah, no.
We were just talking about like how weird it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I say this is and hopefully, the baseball game could have prevented the show from happening today, or at the very least, we would have done like maybe a shorter one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, whole show on today. Hopefully, there's no more roadblocks in my farewell tour for the show because this is my last semester, and throughout this semester, basically every possible thing that could happen to make us not have a show has happened.
Have you seen
whether it be sports, a snowstorm of epic proportions, or us not being here like last week?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that stops happening. Except it will happen once. In like 2 weeks, I won't be here. But Gavin can still do the show, and also I did forget to tell you this. I'm telling you this live on air. Someone else did tell me that they would possibly be interested on showing up on the show. Because
man, hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because we almost had a guest one time, and then that fell through. But I'm sure we can get somebody to show for at least a little bit, or force someone to if we really have to.
We have our...
If we really have to.
What's the word I was looking for? Resources.
Yes, and we have our ways.
Real quick before we leave, though.
Yes.
I forgot to... I wasn't going to bring it up on air, but we had time, and
okay,
it's also DC related.
Yeah, we got like a minute.
Did you see the concept art of Deathstroke from the Batman that was supposed to be Ben Affleck's The Batman?
No, I've not seen that.
Look at this. This is dope. This gives me like Teen Titans Deathstroke vibes.
Yeah, that looks like straight out of the comics almost.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. And
the camera can see maybe a little bit.
A little bit. Not just it doesn't look great.
It looks greater in person.
Yeah,
Go to
it looks.
Collider.com.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's one of the news stories.
Yeah, there you go.
But
that came out like today or something.
Fairly recently.
All right,
Published 1 day ago.
Yeah, there you go.
But
still fresh news.
Yeah.
But yeah,
great show.
Yes, this has been the Shut-Ins Talk Show. Thank you so much for listening, as always. We will be back again next week, and the week after that, right? Let me check real quick.
Yeah, let him check his calendar before he leaves us.
I will be here next week, but I will not be there the week after.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I know. But after that, it should be smooth sailing, and for the rest of the semester, we should have every show, and even if we don't, or if we can't do it live, knock on wood, I will find a way to make the show happen because I'll
FaceTime him.
Sure, or no, I'm saying, well, if something else is going on here, we can't do anything. But I'm just saying, like, we'll figure out a way, or like we can still stream it, like, because we usually, we want to go on air and stream at the same time. But if we can only stream, then we'll do it. As long as we can do the show at the end of the day, it's all that matters.
Yeah.
Once again, I'll quit my ramblings so we can get out of here. This has been the Shut-Ins Talk Show. I've been Jacob Pickett.
And I've been Gavin Cook.
And we'll see you all next time.
Got a blast!
But you can catch Shut-Ins Talk Show again every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. here on Z90.7 WZIS.
That was the first time I've heard that. Word. Good stuff.
Oh.
All right, Twitch. It's been real. Even though you saw me Monday, although the mics and the camera were off, then you're going to hold that pose the whole time?
No.
Okay. Bye, Twitch.
I'm done now.
I can't wave like I used to since we moved the camera. Okay, bye-bye.